So I'd like to thank the organizers for inviting me to give this lecture today. You've already heard a lot about breast cancer. They asked me to talk about breast cancer and lifestyle. But as you realize, you will not live a healthy life if you are free of breast cancer, but have stroke, for instance, or have hypertension, or one of these other chronic diseases. So I have chosen to talk to you about cancer and non-communicable diseases as a whole. Next slide, please. Okay. So cancer is one of many non-communicable diseases that have hit us in this part of the world and everywhere, as a matter of fact. Non-communicable diseases, unlike communicable diseases, are not transmissible. You can't transfer them from one person to the other. In other words, they are not contagious. They cause a protracted period of impaired health, for which reason they are called chronic diseases. I know in this environment, once you hear chronic, it refers to the severity of the disease. But it simply means that once you have these diseases, they persist for a very long time. Now, people who suffer from these non-communicable diseases have them for their lifetime. So as you know already, you have cancer, unless you're cured, you have it for the rest of your life. You have high blood pressure, you have it for the rest of your life. If you suffer from myocardial infarction, or that is a heart attack, you suffer from the consequences for the rest of your life. In the same manner, if you suffer from the stroke, you have to live the consequences for the rest of your life. Now, so you already see that NCDs include cancer, hypertension, diabetes, obesity, stroke, heart attack. Now, the reason why I'm choosing to talk to you about this is because as of today, an adult Nigerian is more likely to die from an NCD than from an infectious disease. Lucky for us, Ebola is no longer entrenched in this country, at least for now. So the comparison is not even there. Now I say so because in 2008, according to World Health Organization, the World Health Statistics report, of all deaths due to non-communicable diseases occurred in low and middle income countries like our own. And this is a sharp rise from just under 40% in 1990. It has more than doubled as of 2008. We don't know what the statistics are as of today. So in addition to avoiding breast cancer, we should make it a conscious effort to avoid non-communicable disease as a whole. Now, worldwide, non-communicable diseases account for 48% of healthy life years lived, versus 40% for communicable diseases, maternal and perinatal conditions, and nutritional deficiencies all combined, and 1% for injuries, according to the WHO in 2005. Next slide. Now, another reason why it's important to talk about this is because over the next 20 years, it's estimated that NCDs will cost $30 trillion US. You can multiply that by equivalent in naira and see what figure it is. And for people like us who do not have an effective health insurance scheme, most of these costs of treatment will come from our pockets and push many of us below the poverty line. So it's important to know about these things. The good news, however, is that there is increasing evidence that these diseases can be prevented. That is cancer, high blood pressure, stroke, cardiac infarction, and so on, by doing simple things such as eating healthy, reducing or in fact avoiding alcohol use and smoking as well, and increasing our physical activity level. Next slide, please. So, for the next few minutes, I've decided that I should talk to you about what it means to eat healthy. That is the focus of my lecture for this afternoon. Now, food is defined as any substance that can be taken in as ingested and digested to give energy and to build tissue. Food has two important components, what we call macronutrients, which are the chemical groups that humans eat in the largest quantity to provide bulk energy and to build tissue. Now, these macronutrients are protein, which is derived from fish, from meat, and in this part of the world, maggots as well. And then carbohydrates, which are derived from yam, potatoes, bread, etc. And then oils, fat and oils. Then food also contains micronutrients, which are chemical groups that are required in very small quantities for normal body function. and include minerals such as sodium, potassium, magnesium, calcium, etc., and vitamins. Next slide, please. Now, that is what you need complete food to be healthy. But we also have processed food. Processed food is made from plants and animals that have been put through what they describe as definalizing chemical processes that removes all the minerals, all the vitamins, such that most times they usually contain just sugar and a lot of chemicals that may be harmful to the body. So these are processed, examples of processed food, and they include canned meat, canned vegetables, canned whatever, and processed white flour. One of our big problems in this part of the world. Now, the other is junk food. I thought I should bring that to your attention. Junk food is an informal term for food of very little nutritional value that is usually made from processed food, and includes usually most foods made from processed white flour, such as meat pies, donuts, and so on. And sweetened drinks such as Coke, malt, Pepsi, and so on. Next slide. Okay. Now, the other food I thought I should bring to your attention is what they describe as functional food. This may be from processed food or from natural food. The important thing is that it contains a known biological compound which in the right quantity and quality provides clinically proven and documented health benefit. So for instance, you can eat white rice. White rice is processed food because the brown husk that covers the green is been removed. But if you eat white rice with a lot of vegetable that has been proven to be healthy, then it becomes processed food. I don't know if I'm making sense. Alright. Now, phytochemicals are also important to know because they are non-nutritive plant chemicals, even though they call them food supplements. Most of these so-called supplements are actually non-nutritive, but they have protective or disease-preventive properties they are non-essential chemicals as well. So for instance, you have lycopene in tomatoes, you have isoflavones in soy, and flavonoids in fruits. I put this there so that you can see that there are different types of chemicals that can be derived from different types of plants. Now, phytochemicals is important to remember because we'll come to it in a short while. They are the major consequence of what we take as nutritional supplement. Next slide, please. Now, it's also important to know about antioxidants. Antioxidants may be phytochemicals that I mentioned just now, or they will be vitamins or other nutrients that protect our cells from damage caused by free radicals. These free radicals are generated by normal metabolism. So we eat rice, we eat yam, we eat whatever, it's metabolized in the body, and over time it gives rise to free radicals that accumulate and eventually destroy our cells and our DNA. Now, antioxidants do this. This is an antioxidant. If you assume that these free radicals destroy either our cell membrane or the nucleus that contains our DNA, these antioxidants just eat up these free radicals and free us from the damage, potential damage that will be caused by free radicals. Next slide, please. The food we eat as human beings can be medicine. I hope that at the end of this lecture, you can take that as a way at what you got from me. Food as medicine became popular in the mid-1970s, following the publications of scientists called Walter Boaklin and others. These scientists believed that adopting the ancient diet of the caveman, that is man from about 10,000 years ago, will prevent us, will help us to guard against chronic disease, including cancer, diabetes, hypertension, all that. This position was supported by studies done by Stefan Lindberg between 1989 and 1993. Amongst these people who eat like the man of over 10,000 years ago do not suffer from stroke, they do not have diabetes, they do not have blood pressure, they do not have obesity, and they do not have cancer. Now, the reason why that is so is said to be because it's like man has been transported from 10,000 years ago to today and faced with foodstuffs that we cannot digest because our DNA, our genes are not adapted to this foodstuff, if you like. And that is why they said man now suffers from the diseases of modern man, which are cancer, diabetes, stroke, hypertension, and so on. Next slide, please. So, these scientists prescribe that we should eat this, and that this is the ideal diet for human health and well-being, and it resembles what the man of 10,000 years ago ate. So as you can see, it consists of protein, of meat, that is derived from wild game, from antelope, from grass cutter, and so on. Not beef, and it consists of vegetables and fruits. That is it. Some people call this high protein diet, but it's ideally called the Paleolithic diet. Next slide, please. So the Paleolithic diet consists of vegetables, as you can see there, fruits, meat, mainly from seafood and from wild game, poultry as well. And the major source of oil is either coconut oil or olive oil. It forbids junk food, sugars, sweet fruits, and grains from which bread is made. It also forbids dairy products such as milk, cheese, yogurt, and so on and so forth. Next slide. So this is the proportion in which you're supposed to be eating these food items. The major energy source in this diet is protein from whatever source, followed by vegetables and then nuts and berries. So assume that if you adopt this diet, you will not have chronic diseases. Is there evidence to support this fact? Plenty. As I've told you, a lot of clinical trials have been done using this diet, and it is shown to be superior to, for instance, what they prescribe to you when you have diabetes. And it's also been shown that people who are on this diet have less risk of developing cancer, hypertension, and all that. Next slide, please. So, our failure to eat like man of 10,000 years ago has resulted in this man who suffers from all kinds of diseases because he drinks a lot of sugar, he eats a lot of white flour, he eats a lot of white rice, and hardly eats fruits and vegetables. And so he suffers from cancer and other diseases. Next slide. This is another diet that resulted from the work of a scientist called Leland Alport. He was commissioned by the Rockefeller Foundation to study why the people of Greece, of the island of Crete in Greece, were dying so frequently. So this man went there and studied their lifestyle, studied what they ate, and discovered that they were dying predominantly because they had poor sanitation habits, because they had poor health care, and because they suffer from diseases such as cholera, dysentery, malaria, and typhoid. But he also found something important. He found that these people had less cancer and less cardiovascular disease than Americans, for instance. And so people wanted to know, what did they eat? What was it that made the difference? And they found that these people ate this. They ate mostly plant-based diets. They hardly ate beef. Their most source of oil was olive oil, and because of that, they lived healthier. Except that there were poor people like us here, and so died of infectious diseases predominantly at the time. Next slide, please. So this is what the Paleolithic diet, the pyramid of Paleolithic diet. It emphasizes physical activity and eating in groups. And as you can see, the major sources of calories are from fresh plant food, which may be brown bread, potatoes, fruits, as you can see. And the major source of oil is olive oil. They don't use anything else. And the source of protein is mostly seafood. They eat very little poultry, that is chicken and poultry products as a whole. They drink red wine in moderation, which is really helpful as well, and they drink a lot of water. Next slide. This is what we eat on the other hand. Maybe not in this quantity, but this is what we like to eat. A lot of sugar, a lot of palm oil, and all that. No vegetables inside, no fruits whatsoever. It's not surprising that we suffer now from so many chronic diseases as well. Next slide. Now, as you saw from the previous slides, every health-promoting nutritional plan contains fruits and vegetables. That is the truth. It's been proven over and over again that people who eat fruits and vegetables suffer less from chronic diseases. Next slide.